Evening, ladies and gentlemen, apologies for the brief delay in terms of the start. We are underway for qualifying at the moment. On board Nigmarati, Ferrari driver just now coming through turn 1, the 14-year ahead of him. Actually, I'm just trying to stick on board with him. We'll try and find out who that is. Whilst we have been off air, we did have a moment. Ard is the American of Ard. It's the man that we are on board with now. But Sammy, on his debut, actually has been disqualified from this session due to blocking the pit lane. So not a good start at all for the man in the Sauber. So not been a good day at all for him. He's on board with Hardy, just now comes out of the second section. Just the second sector does start. Now on the run up towards this tricky left-hander, into the left. Very easy to cut both parts of that corner, so do watch out for any potential corner cut. Of course, this track very infamous for its corner cut, so it's going to be vital for everyone to make sure that they do not end up with too many penalties and cost themselves dearly indeed, as he's now coming down the back straight. The casino straight is known as that little kink that is 12, up towards the final chicanes, turns 13 and 14, of course, where Wall of Champions is progressed. There it is on the right hand side, and actually Ard dives in there, so we'll go on board with Enigmati, who is going to be the first to start us off. He will kick us off for the lap times. He run massively wide there and get a bit of oversteer out of turn number 14. He is up to line 1 minute 10.0, but that was invalidated as he does it. No, he does go fast, 11.9. Butler then to smash that 11.1. Adam Lee, he does not sell a lap, as we had just, oh yes we do, sorry, a bit delayed at the moment, the lap time's coming in, so 11.6 for him. Shamil Heskey on his return to league racing, of course, and of course his very own league, 11.864 for him, slots him in a P4. Teammates, of course, Benny Marati up to line for Exploding Emerald. He sets the 112.0, but it was invalidated. Up to line for Dasher, he manages a 112.0, only 5th for him, of course, the man who dominated the Monaco Grand Prix. Coxey, meanwhile, 111.192, the Toro Rosso driver, put in a good lap there. Currently slots him in a P2, only 700ths off pole position, so close between them two. Definitely worth to keep an eye on. KJ Gamer, definitely one of the favourites at the moment, ever since we did lose VSI Swiss, and he's been the person to look out for. I've just been informed that Sammy's wheel wasn't on, so that's the reason why he's been disqualified. Let's hope and see some more of him in the race. KJ Gamer does smash the pole time there at 10.780. 4 temps clear, actually 3 temps clear of Buddle Orb. We're on board with ESR Amazed. This has got, you don't want to keep your eye on. He's coming down the back stretch now towards the final chicane, that is 13 and 14. Actually, the World Champions is also known as the Quebec corner, fun fact for you. Round the final corner, up to line for Amazed, the Red Bull driver, and he is looking to be a good time here. It's a smashing time, but he's invalidated as per usual. Not been my day today, as Heskey just dived it into the pits. Dasher will dive it in. We expect to see more from Dasher. Harley in one in the meantime, the Sauber driver, 11.362 for him, beat just 600 from VSR Amazed, so I did miss that lap time, so apologies for that one. It's just now on board their hairpin, which is actually turn number 10. On the run up towards, there's a yellow flag in sector 1 actually. What has happened there? Exploding Emerald has had a moment coming out of Danny's at the last section at turns 3 and 4, infamously where Fernando Alonso and Jenson Button had that big incident in 2011, which of course Button received a drive-through penalty for that and did go on to win the Grand Prix final. It looks like Amazed is on another lap. Of course, tyre-wise not too bad around the Canadian Grand Prix, so expect to see a few laps done on qualifying on these tyres, so you know he's got every single right to. He's got enough fuel to finish off this lap. He's now come up to the chicane now, the final 2 corners there, lovely, skips across that one beautifully, and we want to miss that one almost the second part because you want to sort of slide out on the exit. He's up to the line and he's a 10.863. He has gone 1/10 off of KJ Gamer, as Harley did jump on a P2 there as well, and actually that's 1,000th between them two. The Red Bull and Sauber separated by 1,000th, very close between them. Worth an eye on it perhaps. Jason Snake's just now starting up a lap. Hard is now officially on one. Spreading will dive in. Still 5.5 minutes to go. Still plenty of time for the guys to pop back in, get another lap in. But still, of course, they need to keep their wits about them. Hard still continuing to run wide there. He's done that for the 2nd time in a row at turns 8 and 9. So he needs to be careful. Now up through this corner, of course, very famous hairpin. Of course, watch out for some late lunges heading into that corner. Very easy to get caught out there. If someone dives at you inside, you have no room. Of course, you take the racing line. Very surprising almost. I'm just not using DRS till very late on there, so maybe it's someone that not quite going for it. Just set a banker at the moment. He's after his final chicane. He skips across that now to the final DRS, and again, very delayed on his response to activate it. He's up to the line, and it's going to be 11.329 for him. Slots into P6 for the time being. So not a too bad lap at all. So we just did have Adam Lee there. He's just about to start a lap. Current best is 11.669. Currently P7 at the moment. Top 5 all still in the pits at the moment. With only 4 temps separating the lot of them. 700ths between Butterlord and Coxey, who has now just made his way out. Commentator's curse. And Amazed and Harley, crucially, 1,000th in it. You cannot quite write the gaps as small as that. There is Coxey, just come out on the screen now. There's no one, just saw Adam Lee. No, sorry, JSR Snakes, my apologies. Wrong driver. But yeah, it is a pleasure as always to be back for the WXL. On with Adam Lee as he skips through the turns 8 and 9 chicane and now towards turn number 10. Let's see what his split time is. It's a 19. He's actually 1/10 up on his personal best there. So he looks to be on for an improvement here. Won't put him any higher for the moment unless he can really get this selection nice, but of course slots him even more secure into that P7 for now. But not quite enough to get further up. We've got yellow flag in sector 3. Who is that for? That is for Ard and Dasher. They're crawling here, but we've got Adam Lee who does dive it in, but I'm not really too sure what's happening. There appears to be some sort of incident between Ard and Dasher by the looks of things. The two Americans coming together. They've both got barely any front wing. So, interesting stuff as to what's happened with them. Hopefully, nothing goes about it. But Ard has retired now as he just smashed it in the wall at turn number 2. So, the two Americans coming together, and then Ard having enough. So, he's only going to manage P6 for qualifying. Got a lot of work ahead of him for this Grand Prix. Coxey, now the final corner. He's just about to start his flying lap. 3 minutes to go in the session. Still got a pole sit at KDM in the pit too. So, Mace hasn't made his way out. On board, who usually go on board? Shimaheski cruising now on his. What would have actually been a lap. TR Dash has got to come back in. Just as next, interesting using Rich Mix there for that second part of the turns. As you have got KJ Gamer, the Mercedes, now on his way out. A bit of an incident, I believe, between Mason and Shimaheski at the moment. Anyway, Butterlord, the McLaren driver, currently P4. He's up to the line. He's just now at to start flying lap. Coxey, interesting, backing off there. So a lot of different strategies going on here. So whether people actually do go out or come in, it's a bit of a different one at the moment. Not really too sure as to, not many people fancy going for it at the moment. We'll stick on with JSL Snakes. He just sent to his flight, of course, yet to set a lap time yet. But does of course have the target of 12.0 to jump out at last. Interestingly, not too far to separate Dasher and Artie in 9th and 10th. 11.991. for Artie and a 12.012, so just over 200ths separating them two. But we're on board with the fellow Red Bull of JSL Snakes, because teammates do. Here's our amazing current. It's P2. What can Snakes do in response to his teammate? It's a 1:11.289. Apologies for the delay on the graphics as to times coming in. I'm not really too sure what's happening with regards to that, so my apologies. For that. Yellow flag in sectors 1 and 2. Harley going very slow on his outlap. Butterlord, meanwhile, he's up to the line. McLaren driver. Of course, 1.3 laps of fuel left to go. He's up to the line. And he goes fast there, but 10.543. Not mucking about the McLaren driver. He tops the time charts for now. Still a minute 20 to go. There's still time for people to start another flying lap. Who have we got coming towards the end of the lap? I believe Adam Lee is just about to start one. However, Shimaheski, he is a man on a lap. Was 3-time league racing champion, this man. Definitely someone to keep your eye on. Round the final corner comes the Ferrari driver. Only P9 at the moment. He will not be satisfied with that. He is up to the line though. And it is P2 for him. 10.6760. 200ths, exactly 200ths quicker than KJ Gamer. So that will do the Ferrari nicely. And the question is, that will probably do him for the session because he has got no more fuel to burn. So he parks it up out of turn 2. As you see, there is ESR Maze. He's just on the corner. There he is on the right hand side of the screen. Harley appears to be maybe potentially on a lap course. He only improved by the slightest amount, and he will jump ESR Maze because Maze now on a lap for himself. Around the final corner card, doesn't look like as if he is. He is actually not indeed. So apologies for that. Whether that's invalidated or not, I'm not really too sure. Coming towards the end of the lap, so we've got KJ again. They've just gone faster. Sorry, I did miss that. Mercedes driver, top of the charts, there at 10.304. Big bundle there by just over 2 temps, so he again sets the pace And now it's a question of who can match him as Buddlord does it with 5 seconds to go with this session. We're on board with this amazed. He looks to be the man who will kick off the time charts in this end of this qualifying. Dasher doesn't improve in qualifying, so he was starting P11, surprising. The man who won Monaco and looked to be a championship contender, even said it himself in the podium questions. Around the final corner comes amazing. He's pushing for it. Over tomorrow, up to the line for the Scotsman. The Red Bull will set a 10.820, only a minor improvement, but it's enough to maybe take a little bit of a gap between him and Harley, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. His fellow Red Bull teammate is up to the line as Adam Lee crosses the line, so he is done for qualifying. Round the final corner comes JSR Snakes. He is up to the line now, barely next to no fuel left to use. He crosses the line. It's only a 10th improvement, it's not a position improvement. Exploding Emerald also counts the line. Harley there, going P3 in the salvage rider. 10.715. Coxey meanwhile, as KJ Gamer goes fastest again with a 10.302. And Coxey running out of fuel on the right to the line. Last man is Enigmarati, but he is an AI, so that will do us for qualifying. And KJ Gamer is absolutely stormed that. He is on pole, he just had a huge collision there with JSR Snakes. But it is KJ Gamer who lines up on pole position, Buddlord second, and Harley third. That is your top 3 for qualifying. It looks close. Of course, around a track like Canada, some good chance for some good close racing. But here is your rundown for qualifying. KJ Gamer, the Mercedes on pole position. Alongside him, then the McLaren of Buddlord. Man, who's not had too much luck in the WXL, hoping to change that today. He is on the front row. Harley and Shimil Heskey are your second row, of course. One of the owners of the league starts on the second row alongside Harley, a man who looks to impress yet again. He continues to. ESR Amazed and Coxey are your third row. JSR Snakes and Sergio Perez are your fourth. Exploding Emerald and Adam Lee round out your top 10. And then the guys outside the top 10 with fresh choice of tyres. Enigmarati, surprisingly, TR Dasher, and a poor debut for Sammy as he got disqualified due to unlucky reasons with a wheel. But we'll be hoping to see some more of him on the race. Hopefully a good start for him. Could see him further up the field. But a good qualifying for KJ Gamer, doing exactly what he needs to do. Of course, one of the championship favourites to do well, and he's certainly proved why he is just that. But here we go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for the brief delay. We've had to have a quick restart due to many different issues that we did have at the start of the Grand Prix. It was rather carnage. But we are back and live, and I actually now have a co-commentator with me. I am joined by F1XL Scar3, aka Tom. How you doing, my friend?
Hello. Yeah, bit different being here. Some of you might know me either on TWRL or as a racer in F1XL. But yeah, I guess I'm here to sort of help out with the comment. It should be fairly interesting. Jack was just telling me the rundown of who to look out for. It looks like it's a very spaced out, evened out. Grid should be very close, and it's Canada as well. Always nice action there.
It is. We are getting ready for the 5 lights though for the second time in this league. We've got KJ Gamer on the right hand side, Buddlord on the left, who will come out on top and down to turn 1. We've got lights out and away we go. And KJ Gamer has had an absolutely atrocious start. Buddlord already overtakes him. Harley as well goes right round the outside. He takes the lead 4 wide into turn 1. That is just ridiculous. But they've just about managed to work out the fair order of things. ESR Amazing is down the inside of him. Shimil Heskey somehow leads. How on earth has he done that? So come out through turn number 4. It looks like as if we haven't had Buddlord be added to the timing screen, but he does lead the Grand Prix. Apologies for the interruptions there. There is Buddlord there, just in the first second. So Buddlord, Shimil Heskey, ESR Amazing, KJ Gamer, Harley, JSR Snakes, and then Adam Lee, Adam Lee. Exploding Emerald and Killian ran out the top 10. Dasher side by side with Killian meanwhile for P10. This is not where you would expect Dasher to see, but he did qualify P12. He's down the inside at turn number 8. He might have the move done here. He's just about going to try it. He ignores the runoff. Is Killian out of turn 9 up towards turn number 10? And it looks like Dasher has the move done for now. But an interesting, weird start, especially one of the worst starts we've probably seen for KJ Gamer, Tom.
Yes. Sorry, you're going to get my bearings. I do apologise. There's some people I know, some I don't. I just want to point out a very terrible start for Coxey there, who is 5 positions down from where he started, in comparison to drivers such as Artie and Buddlord in the top 3, who are all up from where they started. As manic off of the start there when the lights went out. Hopefully, it will stay this close to some good battle.
Indeed, 4 wide into turn 1. That's a little bit stupid, but they managed to just about work out. It's very normal to piss up from me damage on that front left, and he's slowing down. That means Sammy will get past because debutant for him, so we're hoping for a good result out of him. Meanwhile, ESR Amazed has definitely worried, Shimil Heskey's definitely worried about ESR Amazed. They can't turn number 8. He is shifting to the inside. He's going to look, but he's going to slot in behind for now. Try and get a better exit slingshot out of 9 in towards turn number 10. And he's going to try just that. He goes to the racing line. Shimil forces the inside, forced defensive. Here we go into turn 10. Can the Red Bull beat the Ferrari on brakes? He's going to try, but Shimil going to squeeze him out as much as possible. KJ Gamer trying to get on top. A slap in the face by ESR Amazed almost to him. And now the Sauber of Harley's going to try and go side by side. It was the big three going a battle in real Formula 1. And then a tiny little plucky little Sauber might come out potentially better for wear. Meanwhile, Adam Lee as well looking feist on the back of Nick Murati up towards turn number 13 and 14, but he backs off. That's rather stupid to try and go for a move there. Meanwhile, back up towards this battle. Shimil still has these guys in a four-way train at the moment. Down the inside goes ESR Amazed at turn number 1, and he's going to try and squeeze him out for turn number 2. Shimil keeping his front nose in, and he just about might defend. And now KJ Gamer on the offensive. Shimil Heskey's always following for us like NASCAR. He's trying to follow his line and cut through, and he does. And they're almost 3 wide coming out of turn 4. And Shimil runs wide, and he loses both positions there. And now Harley trying to get himself involved as well. Comes towards turn 6. Contact as they try and go 3 wide into turn number 6. That was ludicrous driving. Too ballsy in my opinion. Harley forced out, but they just about managed to work it out. Now JSL Snake's just close up behind, but he is currently, crucially, he's on the soft compound tyres, so he's thinking about the long game here, Tom.
Yes, and it's very crucial. Canada especially, because it's such a fast-paced track. You know, one mistake and you can lose so much time. Obviously, you've got there's places like the hairpin, the last chicane next to the Wall of Champions. But it's very crucial that you always have to get the corners right, because your battle can just be over just like that, and you can lose the position at the snap of a finger. Interestingly, I just want to point out that Dasher and Artie are going side by side.
Adam Leeds gone down the inside at the chicane. What a move! But yeah, like I said, Dasher and Artie going to blows. A bit of damage by for him right that front right. Meanwhile, Harley still looking feisty on the back of Shimil Heskey. Same as well. 3 battles going on at once here. We've got the Red Bull and the Mercedes, KJ Gamer and ESR Amazed. Then we've got Shimil and Harley. Meanwhile, Dasher has now got back past Nick Murati and Coxey, looking potentially feisty on the back of him. But Tom, it's all kicking off everywhere at the moment. I don't quite know where to keep my eyes on, but I'll keep my eye on the battle currently. What is P2 in this 4-way train? 5-way actually.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on the battle for 4th, I believe, with Heskey leading that, with Adam Lee and Snakes following all of that behind. Snakes slightly in the background there, but Adam Lee and Harley are right on Heskey's tail. So it should be an interesting fight to the end of the back straight, coming up to the Wall of Champions. Very close indeed. Obviously the DRS is open now, so every driver who is in it can get that DRS and can push hard enough. But obviously going back to that fight at the, for second, I believe, between the Maze and KJ Gamer.
Oh, it's actually the wall! Heskey's just binned it out of the final corner. He's nudged the wall. We've lost the position to Harley. I don't think he got any damage. That was dodging it by a whisker. Adam Lee might not have found himself. He might have just about managed to get out of that. That was some heart in your mouth stuff. Just think of what you could see it. You could see it just on the. I just watched the replay. You could just see him get it all wrong. He was so twitchy on the exit out of 14, and he just slides it into the wall on the right. But he gets away with it. That's what's clinical for him.
I think KJ Gamer, has slight damage on the front left. I'm not quite sure.
That is, yeah.
Maybe there was a mix-up. Yeah, so so this might impact his fight for second. Obviously, Amaze is going to slowly catch up, and then evidently through the slipstream, so is Harley and Heskey and all that, and they're all going to catch up. Big lockups from everyone going into that hairpin there, onto the back straight.
But Butterlord, meanwhile, seems to be struggling now. Not really too sure what's happening on that number 5. Since I've seen Paul, lost almost a second to KJ Gamer here. Of course, this is for the race lead, do not forget. The McLaren against Mercedes, both men did line up on the front row of the Grand Prix. But it was a good start for Butterlord. He managed to get the lead and get a gap from KJ Gamer because of all the battling he was involved in. But now this is his opportunity. Meanwhile, Harley starting looking defensive against ESR Amazed, of course. It looks like Shimil might have a bit of front wing damage because he's backing off just a little bit and holding Adam Lee up just the slightest amount. But it's massively chaotic as Sammy has just got back past Coxey. Coxey, of course, did pass him earlier on, I believe. Meanwhile, back up towards the leaders. KJ Gamer starting to look for ways through, but meanwhile Harley's down the inside for P3 on the inside of Maze. This is crucial for the Paradigm because, of course, come this, they're actually watching. You can see the battle ahead. They are going side by side. KJ Gamer against Bundle, but they're just not quite close enough. That was the camera that managed me to think they were side by side just by the position of the cars. But Amazed, definitely looking at the man who's on the defensive against Harley at the moment. They come through towards
KJ
turn
Gamer go for the move.
Well, he has. He's lunged it. And he might have just done it. But no, he's not. Battlelord keeping his way on the outside, though, in towards the final chicane. Can the McLaren hold his position around the outside? Of course, KJ doesn't have a DRS, so he should be able to come back to the race line potentially before we even got to the corner. He does. Now will Battlelord try and get the better exit out of turn number 14. Trying to slingshot his way up, picks up free but he makes a contact at the back, and he's in the wall! And he's in the wall, and he's out of the Canadian Grand Prix in a spectacular crash.
Such a good start. He is not going to be happy with that. So obviously that's put KJ Gamer in the lead. Obviously that's moved everyone up. Harley and Amaze are still going at it, but then Heskey sort of following closely behind, probably waiting for something to happen. And then behind him, Adam Lee in the Haas there, following closely behind Heskey. So again, even after lap 7, it's still close in terms of positioning and delta time between all the drivers. I guess that puts it down to where it is Canada. It's a very medium-paced circuit. It's up there.
Just for a little bit of smart driving. JSR Snakes letting TR Dasher through there for P6. Of course, Dasher is on the ultra softs compared to soft tyres for Snakes. That's what's crucial for him. And of course, as we know, Tom, as I didn't actually know the first time around, the first Grand Prix we did actually have light rain scheduled for them as race course. We have these custom weather, so it will get light rain towards the end of this Grand Prix. So he's thinking about the long game here, making his stint last and not having to do a single stop until the intermediates do become. So smart driving from the Red Bull. He does pick up 3 times, so that's not very smart, but he does indeed hold on to that P7 for now. I think right about 3 seconds down the road, so we might expect to see him catch up with his train of cars that he has got of Sammy and Coxey just behind him. Of course, podium set last time out on a huge shock. Wasn't Emirati, not been the best day so far for him, still in P8. But a relatively good start, starting 10th up into 8th, not too bad for him as well. Debutant, Sammy up into P9, but the real gainer at the start, you've got to say, is Adam Lee. He started 9th, he is now into 5th, along with Dasher, way down in P11. He is now up into P6, so not been too bad.
Speaking of Adam Lee, he's slowly closing that gap, or at least he was up until the back straight. He's got that DRS now. He's slowly making a gain on Heskey, obviously with that DRS. I think that there might be a battle for 4th that might come into play between the Ferrari and the Haas driver. Heskey almost loses it.
Heskey's done it again. That's the second time he's done that, and now Adam is round the outside of him. This could be a hell of a move, and he's not able to get it done. Fantastic bit of late braking stuff from Heskey, but another mistake out of that last corner. That's going to be his weak spot. It just seems to be every single time, every so often, he just gets it slightly wrong, and it ends up in a sticky situation.
If he messes up in the dry, how do you think he'll cope in the wet? So obviously, you've got to brake a lot earlier, you've got to brake a lot harder, and you've got to turn in a lot earlier also. If he can't do that in the dry, he's going to struggle in the wet. Especially with Dasher being on him at all times.
Adam Lee.
I apologise, Sorry, I'm looking at the one guy, I apologise. Adam Lee, especially Adam Lee being on Heskey at all times.
Indeed, but Adam Lee looking very feisty at the moment. He's sitting all over the back of him. He's going to want to get a move done because, of course, you can see Harley, which, of course, is the podium, just 1 second up the road. Meanwhile, Maze starting to close back in towards KJ Gamer. Yellow flag is. Oh, Sammy is out, and that's a huge wallop in the wall. How on earth has he got there on the exit of turn 10? That is a massive
Enigma's got damage, so I think they might have collided.
Potentially. Meanwhile, Adam Lee is round the outside of Stuart Heskey at turn number 14. This is for race 4 now, P4 now into turn 1. They come, and Shamil breaks so much later. Switch back though, think about it. Smart driving out of 2. Can he get a good exit? He can't, and Shamil still fends that P4 for now. And it's looking like as if Adam Lee's starting to get a bit tense in that cockpit for now. But he holds P4 to Shamil Heskey for now and run it towards turn number 6. But yeah, an interesting collision there. Yeah, like you said, bit of damage running right, so we could expect to see him maybe come in, but of course, bit of damage, not really too sure what for. He is looking very close to the back of Coxey here. It seems to be
I don't
struggling.
mean he's got damage.
Oh, he has. Has he clipped the wall?
Coming up to the, I think him and Heskey collided. Heskey backed off. Sorry, Adam and Heskey collided, and Adam backed off, giving Heskey back the position.
Adam's now dropped
Adam's
it.
almost lost it. That's
Oh my
not
goodness.
good for him at all.
Dash is now in a P5. Now Snakes might see his opportunity here to climb up in a P6. And DRS enable for him, because he does have it, but it's all going wrong for him. Red front wing damage by looks of things on that front right. Surely have to dive it in, and he does. That's a real shame for the Haas, because he looks promising. He looks like he's going to get a good result here. But he has got front wing, but still plenty of time to go in this Grand Prix, so not over yet. Still 24 laps of this 35 lap Grand Prix, so it's nowhere near over yet. But it's a shame to see him have to make that stop. And he looks like he's going to go onto the soft compound tyres, so make it last till that stint that we do know about, the wet weather come later on, as Sammy has left the session. That's a shame for him on his debut. Hoping for a next round, better round next week. Which unfortunately I'm not too sure what the Grand Prix is, because I haven't checked the calendar. I'm a bit of an idiot. But yeah, no. Now it becomes a question of, can Dasher potentially overtake Heskey? Of course, a man who we expect to see a bit further up. He started down in 11th. It would have been 12th if we had everyone who was in the lobby, but unfortunately Ard did not make it, so he got promoted up a position. But now has a chance to potentially even upset Shamil Heskey. Top 4, other than ASR Amazed, have all stayed the same. So a bit of interesting stuff going on there. Now, I don't know if you've got the graphic there, Tom, but I don't know if it says if Snake is actually up a position or if he is not, because it says a 1 positive in the green, but then it also doesn't have the arrow to go up, so I'm not really too sure if he has gained a position. I think he has, because I think he started 7th. That's just from the top of my head. GSR Snakes, the onboard position's changed. I think it actually does say he has lost a position. Meanwhile, Dasher looking very fast. He's dropped it! TR Dasher has dropped it out of turn 2. He got way too close to the battery. He tapped him and he spun it. And JSR Snakes is now up in a P5. And he's in one hell of a position to do well. On the soft tyres, do not forget, he has not got to stop. And he is only now 10 seconds from the race lead. So he has got a huge opportunity here to do well.
When did KJ Gamer get damaged on his front left? Do you have an incident with
near the start?
Near the start, okay. So he obviously has to be careful there.
Indeed, but he's managing it very well. I must say, he's doing a fantastic job at the moment. Still continues to maintain a gap to Isar Amazed. The question is what about tyre wear? We should expect to see it coming very soon. It's lap number 12. Of course, if these guys were on the standard 1 stop that is in this Grand Prix, we would expect them to see him come in. But of course, they haven't had to qualify on these tyres because we did have a restart. So no tyre wear issues at all for any of these guys. But KJ Gamer, of course, does have to be careful as Shamil has dived it in, speaking of which. So talk of the devil, and it shall appear. Shamil Heskey has dived it in. What tyres is it going to be for him? Maybe a set of Super Softs, I reckon they could go. It is Super Soft, so thinking about it here. Dasher also doing the same. The Williams driver, the American, dives it in. Let's see what he does. Comes one off of Team TR in the WXL. It's Super Softs as well for him. Adam Lee's going to jump him most likely by the looks of things. Actually, no, maybe not. Could be close between these two. Of course, quite crucial because they were sort of relatively battling with one another. Adam Lee is just there on the left-hand side. He's now coming through turn 2. Dasher going to do the best he can to try and get up ahead of him, but he's just about not able to. But this could be an immediate move from Dasher if he can get a good exit out of 4, because on the better tyres than KJ Gamers to just come through 3 and 4, and Jessa Snakes with the 3 time. That's one thing that's crucial around here, Tom, isn't it? Corner cut penalties, so do watch out for them.
Oh yeah, the corner cutting here is very strict indeed, and I will not be surprised if there are a few places lost to corner cutting infringencies. Interestingly, with Dasher, as you said, he's on the fresher tyres. Now, we spoke before about there's going to be rain, but that won't matter now in terms of tyre strategy, because Dasher's on a more aggressive tyre, but they can last. Where the softs, yeah, they've lasted in this long, but they're not going to do anything in terms of actual battering. They will survive, but they're the same amount of super softs, but they're stickier, the super softs. So I see that a lot of disadvantages to the drivers on the softs might come into play.
Oh, the 2 Ferraris side by side in turn 1. Sorry about that. Shimil Heskey just now going running on the outside of his teammate. It's actually there's contact between the two Ferraris. Rule number 1 of racing, ladies and gentlemen, do not hit your teammate. And they've just done that. The two Ferraris have come together out of turn number 2, and it's chaos for the Italian team. And that's gone all wrong for them. Oh my goodness me.
He would not be happy there at all.
Indeed he won't. That's not gone at all well. In other news,
got damage as well.
He has. He picked up damage on that front left. And he also had damage on the front right. Don't come together again, boys, because that's just ridiculous. Now, while we quickly stick on boys, what we'd like to quickly mention, Harley and Amaze both did pits. Now, she went diving up the inside of his teammate, and he forces him out and gets the move done in the end. But Harley was onto the Ultra Soft. KJ Gamer goes onto the soft compound tyres. Race leader trying a different strategy. Coxie dives it in. JSL Snakes, of course, will not take the race lead. Do not forget, he has not got to stop if this wet weather does come in time. Now, what about Amaze? Where is KJ Gamer? Down on the way out. There he is. There is ESR Amaze. You just saw they're coming up towards turn number 1. And KJ Gamer is going to still come out ahead for now. But he's on the soft tyres compared to Amaze's super soft. Now the question is, can Amaze catch him? But can Harley catch Amaze? That's one thing that's crucial to mention. TR Dasher is still stuck behind Adam Lee here for P7, because I'm on the soft compound tyres. But different strategies happen at the moment. But that means JSL Snakes have a 5-second lead over the rest of the field. The question is now can KJ Gamer catch him on fresh softs before he has to start worrying about Amaze for this battle? So this could be race critical for him before the wet weather comes. Because JSL Snakes right now is in a prime position to make it a Red Bull 1-3 and potentially, we're amazed on the Supers, a Red Bull 1-2, Tom.
Yeah, I just want to point out KJ, I don't know if you brought it up or not, but KJ didn't have a wing change. It might just be a visual glitch, I'm not sure. So this is not something of any tactile gain at all. So Amaze will surely have a better advantage. He's on older tyres, but KJ has that damage. I think that's going to impact him over the coming laps and essentially put him down into third eventually if the rain doesn't come out long enough. What,
sorry, hearts in your mouth moment there in a bit of race. I'm just sticking on board with this just while we stick on board. So Adam Lee got passed by TR Dasher, and then Dasher immediately then went on defence down the back straight on Enigmarati. He went forward to dive it in, but that could have been a hell of a double move for the American driver. Down towards turns number 13 and 14, the final chicane. And oh my goodness, that was heart in your mouth because they were so close to one another. Anyone would have gave a little bit of room, and surely there'd have been damage for someone or potentially a huge crash. But they get away with it. But that was insane to keep on board with their Tom.
Yeah, very close indeed. And obviously, what did it happen at the Wall of Champions?
It happened to, so Adam Lee got passed by TR Dash out of turn number 10 and then heading up towards the final chicane, turns 13 and 14. He went for a move on Enigmarati. Fortunately, Enigmarati dived into the pits, but that if Enigmarati would have stayed out, he'd have had to back off. And that would have been a hell of a double overtake for the
that would have been an
Williams
amazing move. And obviously, Adam Lee now has DRS. Is he close enough to him to try it again?
It doesn't look like he is at the moment. But I'm sticking on board with the leaders at the moment because KJ Gamer has closed down 2 seconds to JSL Snakes. But meanwhile, a second's been closed down from Amazed and KJ Gamer. So we could very much see the scrap for the lead turn into a three-way scrap with the 2 Red Bulls, hopefully, maybe potentially working together here to prevent KJ Gamer from getting this race lead yet again. So the pressure is on the Mercedes to get a move done quick and prevent any Red Bull shenanigans. So come out of 8 and 9, you can just see KJ Gamer struggling with that front wing damage and also with them soft tyres compared to super softs. It's not an easy thing to do at all. We saw him struggle with the ultra soft, let alone when he's on soft tyres. A lot worse tyres, and then you keep in mind the Maze also have the advantage of a full front wing and better compounded tyres. Surely Amaze could be on here to potentially take the race lead both from his teammate and from the Mercedes driver KJ Gamer. But the pressure is definitely on all 3 of these men to make sure that they end up positive about this as he picks up 3 times with KJ Gamer. That could come crucial come later on. But the much better exit out of 14 from ESR Amaze on the run towards turn number 1. He doesn't look as if he's close enough for yet. He does have a little look at the inside, just maybe potentially just having a look, see if he can surprise KJ Gamer, spook him a little bit. But look how close he is out of turn number 2. He's all over the back of him now. This is crucial for him. but KJ Gamer is still closing up, but he runs wide out of 4 does KJ Gamer. Now ESR Maze looking defensive through 5, in towards 6. KJ Gamer goes defensive into 6, and he's rounding outside the Red Bull. But it's brilliant defending and squeezing out from KJ Gamer. But the switch back might very much be on. The later exit out of 7 out towards turn number 8. It might very much be on, but he's just slotting behind now. He's playing strategic. This is allowing Harley to close right up. We could very much see a 4-way battle. This is allowing JSR Snakes, his teammate, to slowly crawl away with his race lead. As we hit lap number 18, down the inside he goes at turn number 10 on a huge lunge on KJ Gamer, and he squeezes him out. He might just about have it, but the better exit, of course, from KJ Gamer, because he went for an almighty dive bomb. Now he's down the inside. He doesn't have DRS as KJ Gamer, because he wasn't close enough to JSR Snakes on the run up towards turn 14. And ESR Amazed has got the move clinically for what is probably going to be the race. He picks up a 3-second time penalty as well throughout the final chicane. Now Harley on the ultra soft looking on the offensive against KJ Gamer. Could we see the potential race? They lose 2 positions. Meanwhile, the 2 Red Bulls looking to go side by side. And then KJ Gamer trying to defend it. Oh my goodness me.
I think I saw Snakes there slam on the brake, let Amaze through, because I think he knew that he was essentially going to go for the lead. He's going to go for battle. Snakes wanting to keep that strategy on the softs, the one stop onto the wets. As we see battling continuing, as Snakes has just got completely wiped out essentially of P2 all the way down to P4. He got taken by the Mercedes and the Sauber. I just want to point out quickly that during that whole debacle with Red Bull, Mercedes, Red Bull, had I been in first, I would have backed off on the throttle, so the Mercedes would have caught up to me, and then I would have sort of made a bus stop essentially, to let Amaze do the overtake, and then to let the person in front get an amazing getaway as well, leaving the Mercedes stranded. But all in all, it worked out well for Amaze, but not for Snakes, who's down in P4 unfortunately.
Indeed, but there's only so much he could do. Of course, KJ Gamer on fresh softs, Harley on the ultra softs, not really too much he can do, but all he can do now is just keep going as he is at the moment. He's in for a prime position for some very high points with a fantastic bit of strategy call. Through turns 1 and 2 they come. Of course, there's one thing to mention, Tom. The rain potentially might not turn into conditions where we have to use the intermediates. Of course, sometimes, especially in this game, sometimes the dry tyres are quicker in wet conditions. We don't know how wet it's going to get. So it could be a gown. My Dasher's just past Shmuheska there for P5. So the Williams continues on this meteoric rise at the moment. But it could be very much a case where it doesn't become inters. And then the likes of Harley, who has got picks, he's only used two of the same compound, so he has to use a set of super softs. He'll have to come in for a set of super soft. Snakes will have to come in because he's yet to stop. So it could be very much, this could bite them in the butt. But for now, they're in a prime position to do well. But KJ Gamer is going to be like a bus for Harley. Harley's going to want to get past as soon as possible to allow him to potentially fight our race leader now, ESR Amazed. But this has been interesting in terms of the strategy calls, but it's definitely not going to adapt for the Mercedes at the moment.
And I'm going with that the rain debacle. I know some drivers that like the changeable conditions. I personally like changeable conditions. You know, it gives a bit more slide on the tyres. But it can be difficult for drivers to keep up with these conditions, and it's hard when you're battling. But it's not something you want, especially when you're on tyres that are basically dead, when they have no life. Coming into the end of the race, Snakes, if the rain ever comes at an earlier time, his tyres will be dead. He will have no life in them whatsoever. So he's going to have to A, fight out the tyres, and B, fight out the other drivers, while still managing the wet conditions, which is something that you don't want, especially on as I said before, a medium to fast-paced circuit where you're most likely on the throttle for most of the track.
Indeed, you are right. Pretty much a mostly downforce track here at the Canadian Grand Prix. It's going to be race critical for him to make sure that he can manage his tyres as best as possible. Currently in 4th, now got TR Dasher starting to creep up on him. 6.5 seconds is the gap, so we'll keep an eye on that gap as it should potentially come down. But it's interesting to see as to what happens through the final chicane. They come and do the top 3 at the moment as JSR Snakes actually dives it in. Oh no!
Maybe we were wrong about the strategy.
That could be the wrong call. It's super soft for him. On lap 22, Shimoheski also pits. but not really too sure as to whether he actually thinks that he can't make these soft laps, whether he doesn't want to gamble the fact that it's going to, you know, that it might rain. Harley was down the inside of KJ Gamer at turn 6. The Sauber against the Mercedes, and he might just about have it out of turn 7, and he does. Fantastic move from the Sauber, and now he's got the 4th one to take the lead. But don't forget, the sky still don't look like it's going to get towards rain. We can see some more cloud than what we saw at the start, Tom, but no sign of the rain just yet. So, Harley still might have another stop to go.
Yes, and he's locking up a lot in a lot of the corners. And I know it sounds minor, but over time, if you keep locking up, it drains the life of your tyres over time. You know, you'll start to lose grip in some of the corners under braking. You'll just lose the back end, for instance. And it's especially in corners coming up to the chicane that Harley's doing now, it's something that you don't want to happen. He almost, if you look, he almost lost it there. It was very, very slight. But it's stuff like that that can happen over time, and it gets worse and worse. But I think that Harley will have to pit again, essentially, if he keeps going with the aggressive braking into the corners.
Indeed, but I mean, of course, regardless of hope, he's got to be praying. He's got to be doing probably the rain dance in his cockpit at the moment, because he's going to be praying that the wet weather does come. Interesting to know about fuel. A lot of people, not a lot of fuel to burn. The top 3, Harley actually down on his fuel at 0.3 there. Whether he's actually praying that when it goes to the rain conditions, he can put it into lean and just sort of conserve a little bit. And May's only about 0.4 spare. KJ Gamer is about 1.2 laps, so he's got plenty of rich to use. Same with TR Dasher. Adamly not too much, but he's interested in lean at the moment and cruising on them soft tyres, whether he's just making sure that they can just make it. The softs can go a while there, and of course he already has made a stop. Coxie as well, he's onto the ultra softs. Don't forget, he's done what what Harley's done, and he has stopped from ultras to ultras. So he is going to have to hope that the rain does come. JSR Snakes is, of course, someone who pitted now on fresh super softs. We might expect to see him catch up, but there is a battle going there for P8 at the moment. I've been noticing all race that they've been swapping and changing positions. Killian against Exploding Emerald. Meanwhile, the two Ferraris are side by side yet again. Shamil against Enigmarati, 2 ultra soft runners. The 2 Ferraris there for 1 point, don't forget this is. But of course, they've already come together once. Let's hope they don't do it again on the run towards the final few corners. Surely Shamil won't try and go for a move there. That would be ludicrous for him, as we've just seen Killian dive in, but then he's down inside his corner again! They've come together again! Oh my goodness me!
Starting for dust. There is going to be an inquiry about that. Eye looks completely destroyed. He didn't even touch the throttle. Killian's also in the pit. The Force India coming out on what I believe is Ultrasoft. But more importantly, Artie and Heskey, there's going to be some stern talking to for either drivers from either party of what happened there. I'm not sure if there's team orders or anything, but very controversial, very dangerous driving. Rookie errors, to be honest, from both drivers. That was a dirty move from Heskey there.
It was one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen. Like, I mean, coming to with your teammate once, that happens. Okay, it does happen sometimes.
We're doing it twice.
We've seen it before with the 2 Red Bulls. You know, Turkey 2010, the 2 McLarens in 2011 at Canada. It does happen. But then to come together twice, it's just bizarre. Like, surely there will be...
And for a battle for a single point.
Yeah. Surely there will be some sort of... There's got to be some sort of inquiry into the team. And if they say, right lads, stop hitting each other out. If you're gonna hit anyone out, right, if you had the choice of any driver on the entire field, Tom, that you would take out, your number 1 picture which you would not pick is your teammate.
Is your teammate. It's the unwritten rule. Do not go anywhere near your team.
And he's done it.
It's just a race killer. It's one of them things that completely and utterly destroys your race. And not just your race, but it demoralises you, because you can't, you start thinking that you can't even trust your own teammate now. And I don't know, it's just a bad thing in general. Do you see it happening again next race? Is there going to be a mini feud between the Ferraris?
It's interesting that the two owners are the people that are coming together. Let's just put it that way. Let's hope that there is some sort of element announced. Let's hope that they do sort of work out the fair order of things. Now, Tom, I've just been having a look at penalties for the moment. And one thing that's interesting to mention is I'm amazed. 2 time penalties.
Not a single
Harley.
one? Oh, 2, okay.
1. So currently
Okay.
Harley does the race lead. 2 penalties for KJ Gamer. TR Dasher, 2 penalties to his name. Adam Lee, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 time penalties to his name. iCoxy, he has 2 penalties. JSR Snakes, 3 penalties for him. Exploding Emerald.
Oh no, Adam Lee's picked up another 3 seconds.
That's 24 seconds worth of penalties. Actually, no more. Has he just been
And he's
passed by
been
a-
disqualified.
Oh dear. Adam Lee has been disqualified from the session for too many penalties. Oh dearie me. That's
It's
a
gonna
depressing
happen
sight.
eventually. if you continue to dangerously drive and you know you're going to pick up more penalties, you're asking for disqualification.
Coxey binned it!
But-
Wall of Champions!
Oh no!
He's hit the wall, he's got away with it. He's got front wing damage
Is it
though,
out
but
or is it?
he had a massive wall up with a wall, but he dropped it at this first part of the first curve. He just dropped the back end, and now has red front wing damage. But can you see, Tom? The clouds are coming. 8 laps to go. Could we see some wet? Yeah. Oh, Jamil's binned it again at the final corner, but this time he's actually dropped it. Oh my goodness me, could this day's man get any worse? He's hit his teammate twice, he's now been overtaken by Killian. Now the 2 Ferraris, that's the depressing sight. 9th and 10th. There's now Coxey's just been passed by JSR Snakes. He's now back into the top 5. Do not forget. Meanwhile, KJ Gamer still continues in P3. Harley's Ultra Softs are starting to die here. So could we see a move? Of course, Harley does that 3-second time penalties. 1 less than both ESR Amazed and KJ Gamer for the moment. Don't forget, it can change on a dime, especially with wet weather coming. It's very easy to get a corner cut when the track is so greasy and slippery. So keep your eyes on that in terms of any more 3-second time penalties that do go their way. But Tom, only 8 laps to go in this Grand Prix, and it has gone mightily quick.
Yeah, I see it as Coxey picks up another 3 seconds. There's penalties everywhere. Yeah, I think it's going to be very close. I do see it being not. Oh no, I've just had the flash of wet.
Indeed, the rain is coming.
Here.
Now the thing that's interesting is if it doesn't get wet enough for intermediates, because still 8 laps to go, so it's very easy for the rain to set and for it to become quicker. But if it doesn't, Harley's going to have to make a stop for the inters. He's got no choice.
Yeah.
Which he'll probably be the one who has to. He's going to have to make the call. You know, the one that makes the gamble. There's always someone who makes the gamble. But look at how quick it's coming down already. You can already see loads of droplets on board with KJ Gamer. So this will probably be intermediates, and it will be a wet race finish. We'll wait for the good old race control Charlie White to decide whether DRS is still useful or not. That will be our signal as to when it will officially be the intermediates. KJ Gamer starts advantage of DRS. 3-second time for Harley. That's his second one. That means it's neutral ground between him and KJ Gamer for P2 for the moment.
On Harley.
Harley's struggling.
Harley
Look at how much he's struggling through turns 1 and 2. We had a lovely broadcast shot there, and he was just sliding like there's no tomorrow, going so much more wider and such a wider approach. He's cut the corner, and he's cut the corner, and KJ Gamer gets the move done. His Ultra Softs are dead. He's going to have to pit as soon as he possibly can to get off them. KJ Gamer is just as struggling, just as much, because you could just see him lock up there in a turn 6. It was famous place where we had the moment with Sebastian Vettel getting it wide and getting it wrong at turn 6, and now Jenson Button the lead. It's very easy to do that, especially in these slippery conditions. So watch out for any people running wide. We should expect to see the inters potentially using. Look at the amount of spray being produced at the moment. It's not quite enough. We're very nearly there. The question is, who will make the gamble? Who will come in first?
Amazed. He's got a 4-point, or he's going down to his AI, but he had a 4.3 second lead at one point. That's now up to 3.7. But going back a while ago, you were talking about as Harley goes into the pits there. Thank God for him. He was not going to make another lap on those tyres. But you pointed out earlier about fuel. As Dash just binned it into the wall of
Oh
champions.
no!
He's lost the entire right side of his wing.
JSR Snakes dives in ahead of him. That's rather cheeky driving, but it's intermediates for Harley. What about JSR Snakes? He will probably pull a set of inters. He will now actually come out in P4. He will have that P4 position. He comes out with no traffic. Coxie dives in. This is intermediates time for everyone. Surely Dasher, of course, has a front wing change to make, and that could have just cost him that P4 that he's been looking for. Coxie is coming. Let's see if everyone's on inters. It is intermediates time. Everyone feels it's wet enough. Shamil dives it in. Killian dives it in. Everyone is in. The top two are the final two. Now this is crucial for Harley. He's got to absolutely gun for it in the hope that it's just that bad enough for KJ Gamer that he just cannot go on. That it's just so slow. But he is so amazed. It's starting to be closed up here by KJ Gamer. As of course this is the point, Tom, where the rubber sort of goes away and the harder tyres become better in these wet conditions. Yeah. There's an Ignorati diving in. There is ESR and Maze diving in. As Ignorati picks up a 5-second stop-go penalty. And Maze does it. What about
KJ goes in as well.
Plays it very safe. I mean, Harley pulled out about 6-7 tenths there at that sector as it's intermediates, of course, as expected for the top two. Let's see where they come out. That's going to be the crucial thing. Harley now comes towards the final corner.
To the Pirelli sign.
He is miles behind.
Going back to what I said about, yeah, sorry, go on.
I was saying, he must have bottled the pit stop or something, because he's now, because KDM's already at turn 1.
I think he was held up. Who's in the other cell?
There isn't anyone, no. The other cell was at the Grand Prix.
So he wasn't held up. So he must have made a mistake somewhere.
He must have very well done.
Opposite of what he wanted. Complete opposite of what he wanted to happen, because obviously he needed to push as hard as he could for that one lap. Of all the laps of the remaining race, it was that lap he had to push, so he could get into the pressure of KJ Gamer and the Maze, essentially. But no, it is very unfortunate for him. So if it plays out, third position will have to do for him. Obviously it's a podium and he's happy. I feel that there was so much more potential there in that one lap.
Yeah, it's not gone at all well for him. For instance, for JSR Snakes, that's his third, I believe. What about Dasher? Does that mean Dasher will catch him? Of course, Dasher, that was such a shame for him. I mean, Jake's got 1, 2, 3, 4 penalties now. That's his 4 for the day. Dasher only has 2, so Dasher at the moment will have that P5 for now. But it's rather interesting stuff at the moment because, of course, we knew it was coming, Tom, but it just sort of came out of nowhere, really. They just saw one drop, and before you know it, next lap it was completely wet, which I wasn't quite expecting. Jake's is another 3-second time, but that's his 5th, which probably means Coxie might potentially catch him as well. It's all going wrong for the Red Bull. We had such potential after being basically gifted that P4 from Dasher, of course, who dropped it at the World of Champions. But it's very much close, Tom, as we've got just over 3 laps to go. And what a Grand Prix it's been.
It has been very close indeed. We've had teammates come together twice. We've had the World of Champions claim many victims. Not even crash out, just bumps and glides against the wall. And the Maze almost bins it coming out of that hairpin onto the back straight. He's managed to recover it. He loses the back end almost, but he slightly recovered. But yeah, we've had battles for fuel, battles for tyre wear, general battles for points, positions. It has been very close indeed, and obviously we have the wet to deal with now.
Indeed we do. 3 laps to go now. Not long at all. This is where sprint time does initiate. Of course, same penalties for ESR Mason, KJ Gamer at the moment, and their gap is now under 2 seconds. So KJ Gamer appearing to be more confident in these wet conditions, so good at adapting to them, because that is one of the most clinical things in racing. You know, going from the dry to the wet, you've got to instantly make the change, especially when you're in somewhere like the lead. But of course, ESR Mason not going to let it go easy, because a fantastic bit of strategy, of course, to plan to go onto them super softs instead of course, KJ Gamer coming in for the softs has worked out absolute treat for him, and now he's in a prime position to claim the race victory. But it's not over till it's over by the looks of things, because KJ Gamer continues to close that gap up as he continues to drive so well as he usually does. He's such a composed man. He's always at full throttle, but he always knows when to just turn it up just that little bit more. He always has that little bit more to give, and now is definitely that time to give. A lap spare fuel compared to Amaze is half a lap. So, but I mean, this is the point now where pretty much you can just go rich whenever you damn please. Use everything this car's got and see what you can do. But of course, it's crucial to make sure you get the car home as well, just as much as, of course, absolutely gone for it. You want to make sure you get the car home, because still 18 points is one hell of a day compared to no points. And that's definitely what he'll be hoping to do, as Shimon Hesker's caught up to the back at Sloan. Let's hope it doesn't come together with him, because of course he already comes together with his teammate, so twice. So it's not been a good day. Hopefully the Ferrari can turn it around with a good move, but we'll stick up towards the leaders. They are on the penultimate lap now, 1.6 seconds, and it's heating up at the moment, Tom. Question is, do you think KJ Gamer can catch him?
Oh, it's going to be a tough one. He's managed to close the gap in the rain conditions, or the 2 laps of rain that I've been on board with him. He's managed to close the gap about 2 tenths at a time for each sector. It's going to be very close, almost photo finish, I think, although not now, as I think KJ Gamer just made a mistake there, letting Amaze fly away, it seems. But it seems that KJ Gamer is a lot more confident under the brakes. I think it will be very close and very tight indeed. Amaze is quick on the straights, but KJ Gamer is heavier on the brakes, later on the brakes in fact. So he can just take tenths out of Amaze just like that, under the brakes. So yeah. And I think, yeah, he has more fuel than him.
Indeed,
so he can go in rich for longer.
Indeed he does, but he's interested in a lot of different strategies. Of course, here's sometimes just sticking it in stand and just holding it stand for an entire lap, been on board. But KJ Gamer using rich for the straights, immediately shifts into lean just before the braking zones. So he's more or less thinking about using the right fuel for the right amount of time. Just short shifting as well. But of course, Amaze then as a result, especially in sections like this, will get the better exits, of course, because he has a bit more power to use on exit compared to KJ Gamer. Of course, he's in lean mix, but final lap is on now. And this is it. Who will come out on top? Amaze, a little bit of a moment there at turn 6, through to turn 7. Maybe it's a sign that he's not just done yet. Can the gap come under a second now as they come up towards turn 7 and 8? Of course, no DRS, it is under a second. Through turns 8 and 9, sorry, not turn 7 and 8. Out of 9 they come. Only a few corners left for Amaze to survive on. Most of them are flat out. This is going to be a clinical section for him. They're hairpin. Through towards turn 10 he comes for the final time. And he might just about have it. Out of turn 10. A decent exit for him. Now he's just got to keep it composed. Final chicane time. Don't pick up a penalty. Don't do anything stupid. Just keep it safe, Amaze, and you will walk out with this race victory. Here we go. Final chicane time. KJ Gamer will try and give it everything he's got. Amaze plays it very safe. KJ Gamer runs into the wall. He's going to do it. The Red Bull steals victory and takes victory here for the Red Bull team. ASR Amaze with the win. KJ Gamer in the end P2. Harley sliding to the line. He takes P3. Salva Driver again on the podium. Fantastic effort for him. Now we got towards his battle here. TR Dashers continues to close up to JSR Snakes, but it doesn't look to be close enough for the final chicane. For now, he will hold on to P4 by looks of things.
Hey, Morgan Heskey.
Oh yes, he is.
They were side by side going into the final corner, the back straight.
Yes, it's Dasher 4th by the way due to penalties. What about Coxey? He just about loses out by a second. We're around the outside. Go Shamil Heskey. Onyx Bone Emerald for the final one. Contact is in the wall.
He pinned
it.
They
would have pinned it on the final lap of the final corner. And he's been squeezed into the wall by Shamil Heskey. He takes P7. Killian will take P8 from Emerald. And maybe Artie might get P9.
Emerald's not happy there. Obviously, it may be an inquiry into that incident. And he might be able, due to post-race penalties and disciplines, he might be able to regain that place that Heskey pretty much stole from him. That was a very, very close overtake. Sorry, the race is over. I'm trying to think of words. I apologise. That was very tight going to the last corner. It was almost side by side, and I thought I had an idea that it was bound to happen. But well done then. We're amazed. He takes first place position here at Canada. Then by KJ Gamer and yeah, I forgot who was third. Who was third?
Harley.
But
it was the Scotsman on the top step taking the victory in the Red Bull. A fantastic bit of genius, bit of strategy, of course, going from Ultra Softs to the Super Softs before the rain came. He timed it perfectly, managed to get the lead. I mean, KJ was starting to close down in the end when it did start to, just before it got wet, but he timed it to perfection. The wet came and he timed his stop to perfection in the end. KJ Gamer only mentioned P2. He did his best to try and close up, but he did have another 3-second timing, which I did miss out on. Harley takes P3 in the end, and a good effort for him, rounds out the podium. TR Dash, a fantastic job from him, starting 11th, finished 4th. Same with JSR Snakes, he finishes in P5. Coxie 6th, Jamil Heskey 7th, Killian 8th, Explode and Emerald in 9th, and Enigmarati 10th. Now, I don't know if Enigmarati will be awarded P9, because Emerald did bin it on the final lap, and of course, Artie did cross the line, but he was a lap down. We'll have to wait and see. Because I'm not really sure what's happened. To be honest with you, I did message Shamil about not doing podium questions, but it looks like I might have to do podium questions because my voice is rather fucked.
Alright, so.
Alright. Thank you. Right. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, so unfortunately we won't be doing podium questions because my voice is basically buggered. Tom, my friend, thank you very much for joining me. It's been a bit of pleasure.
No worries, anytime. I know it was very last minute, but I'm always happy to be in the commentary box next to you. It's always an interesting race with you in the com box. So, yeah, thanks for having me here at Canada.
No worries at all, man. Shamil, any words from you, from the league owner, of course, as you usually like to do?
I'll be back in the com box next week. It's fair to say that.
Okay, alright. Well, look forward to having you back. Should be nice. Maybe actually this time you actually see the action instead of having to just potentially give me pointers every so often. But
be in it.
That will do that. It's been a bit of a crazy night, ladies and gentlemen. Bit cagey, but we have got through it. That was round number 5 of Canada. We hope you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to check out, of course, if you are interested, go join the WXL. Do not forget, I believe it's at WXL Racing on Twitter. DM the account, get yourself involved. Fantastically with fantastic racing, as you've just seen. More of that to come as well in the future, and it has been like that all season. Well, dramatic, interesting, strategy. Those are the 3 words I'll describe it, and that will conclude that. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. See you next time.